Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. These lovers of democracy in the West love democracy only when they win. When they lose, they start whining and they try to overthrow the government who was legitimately elected by the populace, by the population, by the demos, by the people. That's exactly what happened right now in Slovakia. Slovakia doesn't follow order, therefore regime change. Ordered by whom? Blah, 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 blah. All right, this is what's going on. In Slovakia, there are mass demonstrations in about 20 cities. About 100,000 people gathered over there to protest against the legitimate government of Robert Fico, the Prime Minister of Slovakia. So, okay. The right to protest, I'm all for that. If you get aggressive, get them. Right? I mean, order and discipline, isn't it? All right, so what's going on over here? 2 days ago, I made this video where I said Slovakia coup by foreign experts planned in the US embassies. Zelenskyy okays US expansion at Russia's expense. So, in that video, I used Robert Fico's statements, and not only, where he claims something that Ceausescu also claimed, and he was right about it. Agenturile străine, the foreign agencies are at work to overthrow the Ceausescu regime, the Ceausescu's, with different plans than the outcome. It was a different plan for Romania in 1989 than the outcome. And that was the breaking up of Romania. That was the plan, partly. But hey, someone opposed that. They said the Romanian military, even though they should have taken care of General Militaru. He was the GRU. Anyway, and they knew, Ceausescu knew. Okay, let's go back here. So Ceausescu showed up when there were those protests in Timișoara and said, Agenturile străine try to destabilize the foreign agencies, are trying to destabilize and blah, 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 blah. And we were like, yeah, okay. The boy who cried wolf too many times. We don't trust you at all. You lied. Now, the same thing, Fico comes. I don't think Fico lied. But he comes and says, you know what? There's foreign agencies, as he names them, the European and Americans, who are planning in US embassies in Europe to overthrow the government of Robert Fico in Slovakia, as they did, Fico claims, in Maidan 2014 in Kiev, Ukraine. The same guys, he said. These are the veterans of those coups. CIA is the, who know who the good people are. So that was the video. And now I'm going to show you the protest and who's who, what's what. And I'm going to show you the opposition leader. And I will explain how an opposition leader is successful. He has to be handsome and he has to be a man. I will explain. Not a woman, a man. Here it is. Ukrainská pravda. About 100,000 people protest in Slovakia against Prime Minister Fico's pro-Russian policy. The guys who voted Mr. Fico in office, they knew his policy was for us. Remember, if I like the color black, it doesn't mean I hate the color green. So if let's say, I love my family, it doesn't mean I hate your family. So if I say I like my tribe, it doesn't mean I hate your tribe. If I like my team, it doesn't mean I hate your team. Okay? So don't eliminate one another. So the same, if the Slovak Prime Minister says, you know what, and that's what his message. I will not get involved in Ukraine. I will not be the bitch of the European Union. And if I can get an interest, I get an advantage from the Russians, which is gas, cheapest gas, I will do it for my people. The people voted for his party. He's got over there and he is in charge. This is how democracy works. You don't like that? You go again and you vote for the guy that fits your needs. That's how it is. But no, these guys protest. That's how the coups start in many, many countries. They start with a protest, demonstrations, and then from there it just goes off rails or off the rail. And they start shooting and they start activating their cells infiltrated in those demonstrations. That's how it works. And then you have people on your payroll in the government, preferably in the military and in the internal agencies, which are like, America would be FBI, CIA, NSA, and those guys are activated, don't do their job, these guys win, and they take over the parliament and everything else, and that's like insurrections. That's how you make an insurrection. Not with 5 baboons climbing stairs in a capital and the police stays around, let them come in. Okay? Bull shit. Alright, so let's move on. Here it is. They showed us a picture with people. Good. As long as you're not violent, that's fine with me. A series of protests under the slogan, Slovakia is Europe. Okay. Have taken place in nearly 30 cities, so I could have said dozens, in the country, with about 100,000 people gathered throughout Slovakia. Very good, good for you. People took to the streets in almost 30 Slovak cities on the 24th of January under the slogan Slovakia is Europe, against the policy of Slovak Prime Minister Robert Fico's policy of reapproachment with Russia. These baboons right here, they don't understand, and not only, they don't understand that when Fico goes, and when Slovakia will not buy cheap gas from the Russians, which the Ukrainians turned it off, the transit, they will their standard of living, their fucking children will have a worse life than they have, and so on. Right now they're, I'm not talking about the paid ones, the guys that are supposed to be in the crowd. The guys who are, it's Europe. You are going to have a shittier life. How many lives do you think you have? Are you going to be a reincarnation here? Do you have Samasara? What the hell is going to happen here? Or you go over there and you're going to cry hymns after you die. You have one fucking life. You want to fuck it like this? Go ahead. You have to follow the rules, don't you? If you win the elections, your guys are going to implement it's Europe. It doesn't have to be Europe. Slovakia has to be Slovakia. And then whatever works. Who says Europe is good? Let's start with this one. Who says the Europe is good? Did you see what these guys are doing with Green New Deal? Did you see what these guys are doing with their policies about you can't do this, you can't do that? Did you see what the European Union makes out of the media and the freedom of speech? Do you know? Is that good? Do you know the Europe's foreign policy is at United States is pam pam pam? Do you know that? So is Europe good? Is, what's her name, Ursula von der Leyen elected by the Europeans? She's the president of the commission. Is she? What is this? Don't give me that. Do they have an army? And then when they are supposed to vote in the European Union, remember they have to be in a consensus. If they something that has to do with foreign policy, they have to be in a consensus, all the countries. So if Hungary said, no, I will veto it, I'm not, what did the Prime Minister, Mr. Draghi of Italia then? He said, it's okay, we're going to circumvent Hungary. Basically, we're going to make another rule while we are at it to make it 51%, not 100. This hasn't been unanimous. No, we're going to make it just a majority. Why? We can't allow dissent from what? Fucking Hungary or Slovakia. We are Italy here, man. We're Germany and France, and across the channel are the Brits. There you go. This is what matters. The rest are just jackals, vassal states. So let's move on. But this is how these guys are framing it. Pro-Russian policy. I think it's pro-Slovakia policy. But hey, that's me. What do I know? Next one. European Pravda. Fico's lying again. But Slovakia isn't just Fico. These guys try to make it like he's a dictator now. They forgot that he won elections. An interview with Slovakia's opposition leader. So let's see this handsome, tall guy. Why is he like this, you think? I will tell you why. Maybe you're going to be upset about it. But that we have two big groups in a society. I will not name them. Two big groups. One is based on, you remember that movie with Jack Nicholson? And said, how do you, a woman asked him, he's writing, whatever, how do you rate women, you read women so well? And he said, I'm thinking of a man, and I take out reason and accountability. All right, so two groups, one more inclined like that. That's why the commercials are bombarding one group and not necessarily the other one, because that group is going to go ahead and going to drag the husbands with them. All right, so we have here, he's so handsome, I'm going to fucking vote for him. Baby doll, that's not what it has to be. What are his policies? What kind of person? For me, it's enough. He's tall, handsome, and he seems to be very refined and, I mean, after all, look at his beard right over there. He's very rough, so he can provide with some loving. Okay, nevertheless, So they have, look at Navalny. How was Navalny? Handsome guy. Look at Hungary. Look at the opposition guy in Hungary. The same, tall. I made a video a while ago. Tall, presentable, and so on. You're not going to find a smart, but what about me? Because you're going to lose half of the electorate who's going to say, damn, this is, he's ugly as shit. I like the other guy. He's handsome. That's how it goes. So, good for him. Good for him. Next one. Fico accused Ukraine of hacking Slovakia's national insurer. Now look at the picture provided here. Oh man, look at this. Well, I like this picture more than others. Why? Because he's going to say, I'm going to fuck you up right here, baby doll. There you go. Instead of being a weasel like... Man, I'm having a good time today. I started bad, but nevertheless, I end up... Slovak Prime Minister Robert Fico has allegedly a massive cyber attack alleged on Slovakia's national insurance company and claimed Ukrainian involvement. Possible, 100%. Probable, I would give it 90. At an urgent press conference, Fico reported that the attack began at noon and aimed to access confidential medical information. Blah, 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 blah. We were successfully repelling the attack, but the situation remained unpredictable. Do you remember, and if you don't, I remind you, do you remember when these guys in the West were very happy that the Ukrainian hackers hacked the Russians' different ministries over there? They were all happy. I made a video on that and I said, baboons, those guys can do the same thing to you when you don't do what they want you to do. So they will turn around and fuck you up. And by the way, those guys who hacked, they were not employees of they were criminals. Criminals that if they would do that to Ukrainians, to the Ukrainian departments or institutions, they would be arrested, prosecuted, and convicted and jailed. But they were happy because they were doing something. Some bad people, by definition, hackers, right? Were doing bad things to our currently designated enemy. But when they're gonna say, okay, that's gone, we're gonna go back to doing domestic business, or maybe go where the money is, let's say the American Treasury Department, or American banks, or international banks, or evade, those are criminals. Yeah, no, they're the good guys, they're the Ukrainians. Remember how the Queen of England, because we're told that the man's patriarchal dominance and all that. Remember? The English crown had women, queens, almost all the time. And what they do? Remember that queen, was it in the 18th century? I can't remember her name. I think it was 1700, something like this, or maybe earlier, when she hired the pirates, the criminals, to attack the Spanish galleon, whatever they were called, with gold stolen from the South America. Do you remember that one? So she hired the criminals, and then she even knighted some pirates, criminals, that before that they were just taking anyone. So is that how it works? If you tell me yes, then anybody can do that. Not only Gigi and Mikey, Tommy and Trotro can do it as well. Okay, so Trotro and Mikey can do it if, I don't know, Gigi and Thomas can do it. All right, now let's say there's in the United States of America, there's an uprising or it's protest. It's a big mass protest. If you put 100,000 people at Slovakia's population, I think it's a big number of people. So let's say in America you have about, I don't know, 3 million population starts protesting. And then you have, let's say, Russia saying, you know what? I think they're right. They're right. That's good. That's good. That's exactly what Zelensky says. Is that interference? Right here. Ukrainska Pravda. Zelensky backs Slovakian protests against Prime Minister Fico's pro-Russian policy. Hey, you are the not elect anymore, a guy in another country, foreign country, and you tell these guys who are protesting that they're okay, that's good. But if someone would do that to you, you're going to put the army on them to... No? So you tell me about this one. And why? Why? It's because that country cannot decide on its own its course. It has to be with those guys. What was that? What was the country that... the imbeciles in Moldova? Wasn't that those guys? Or other ones? They voted the... I think Ukraine, though. I think Ukraine was about a week ago. They voted, put it in the constitution, something like irreversible course to get to the European Union, or maybe in Georgia, something like this. I can remember. Nevertheless, they said, we are going to be members of the European Union. Let's put it in the constitution. What are you talking about? Maybe tomorrow I don't want to be in the European Union. I don't want to go in European Union. I want to go with Ramaphosa in South Africa. How about that? I want to be member country of BRICS. Who says that? No, forever and ever. What is this? A marriage? Even marriages break up. I mean, Jesus Christ. This is the way it is. The coup started in Slovakia, activated by those baboons. Wait for Orban with their little suave man opposition guy. He's handsome, but hey, he's like that guy who bites the hand who fed him, because he was part of Fide, what's his name, Orban's party before. But hey, you have Brutuses everywhere. You know who Brutus is? All right, and but you can change your mind. You can go your own course. Remember, even Orban was a socialist, communist, whatever before, very much a left-leaning guy with some Soros backing at the beginning. Remember, I think he graduated or went to took some courses in a university funded by Soros NGOs in Hungary, and then now he turns around and beat the hand. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart. I hope, look for the truth and be just. I hope that Fico stands the course for the Slovakians, but it should be only the Slovakians' business to decide which way they go now. Tomorrow they can go a different way, right? It's only the Slovakians, not Zelensky Steins, Trump's baboons and others. You know, thank you very much for being with me again today. See you later. Ciao.